This is the midweek preview for Canterbury, and it's hard not to get excited about any city card. I know you've been firing darts and bullets out wide, but
they seem to always hit the mark too, don't they? You know,
well, fortunately, but look, the task at hand is the Canterbury program tomorrow, which is, well, it looks fertile enough. Obviously, it's an 8-metre rail, but I believe we're actually channeling Gary Harley tomorrow, is that right?
I will be channeling Gary Harley because I've found pretty much the favourite in every race. So
that Polyjuice Potion, for those that don't know about Polyjuice Potion, Harry Potter managed to stalk around in other people's skins, and we've got Gary masquerading as Gordo tomorrow for the Canterbury card.
By the way, they opened up in reasonable prices, and the prices have already gone. So it's going to be a bet late situation for me tomorrow. So.
Yes, and that can happen. Obviously, the small amounts that are required to turn the prices off early. Once the betting gets underway, those horses can kick back out.
Yep.
We've got an 8-metre rail tomorrow, Gord, which is a bit problematic. It's a rail that I don't like to see at Canterbury because it can play either way. My forecast is that because it played a bit wide on the 6-metre rail, it plays inside on the 8-metre rail. So rails in run.
Sorry, there's a girl jogging with big boobs, so I've got to pause for a moment.
Right, your eyes have been arrested, have they?
She's running right away from us too, thinking it's an exercise park. Oh, now she can do some hill climbing.
Right, okay, so I'm suggesting, for those of you that are still concentrating, that leaders rails in run will be some advantage. You don't need to be drawn inside, but
I tell you what happens around your house is absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Race 1, 2-year-old Colston Gelding's maiden on task here. And $3 is the favourite, Bowman Waller calculated. $5 League of Nations. $5 also Sparky Lad, that's Glyn and Waller.
Yep.
$6.50 Auckland Toman, who was scratched last week. $7.50 Blaze Ray. $19 Brave Song. $21 Soviet heads the rest. Now I forecast Soviet to get urgent here, up from 1,000 with blinkers back on. I see him seeking the lead. Choice Harvest has some speed. Catesby raced up on the speed the other day, up to 1,200 tomorrow. Can be forecast to be not too far away. Blazer Ray doesn't give his alley away, so that leaves Calculated sitting off the speed and League of Nations looking for a position, which may be problematic for him. Plenty to look at in the trials here, Gord.
Lots to look at. The 8 Calculated trialled like a really good horse. I'm interested in the map there because it actually jumped well but was dragged.
Yeah.
So they do have choices with it.
Yeah, it's jumped well in most trials. It's obviously had the one run where it sat deep on the speed in a decent race run by Albumin. Interestingly, the stablemate Sparky Lad trialled in similar fashion, would you say?
No. Well, not similar fashion.
Didn't jump well, but just like cruised home across the top of the leader.
I was saying that on class, to the eye. The 8 just looks like a superior quality animal.
Interestingly, the difference between Sparky Lad and Calculated, the last 200 of leader to winning post, is a 2 1/4, like 6 lengths.
Okay.
And now that's accentuated by the fact that it was like a tearaway leader in Calculated's trial.
Yep.
And so clearly he was coming home a lot faster than the 1.3 leader to winner, leader to winning post. But Sparky Lad's heat was a much better heat as far as times are concerned. They ran similar times, but the way the sectionals unfolded, Sparky Lad was more impressive. But Calculated is the horse that's jumped and restrained. Sparky Lad slowed to begin and reeling them in late. I did have a bit of difficulty with that.
Okay, well for me, it's a good sign when the top jockey from a particular stable rides it in both trials and then is booked on the day of racing.
Especially if the top jockey is keen for a winner.
Yes, which is very true, isn't it? I can't see how it gets beaten. I wasn't interested in any of the other trialers. It was clearly the best trial in number 8 calculated. I think it'll win the race. The one that I think might have some improvement, and this is quite surprising, is the one that Waller has put Brenton Avdulla on board, which is number 3 Blazer A. I think it's got the most upside from that Canterbury run. So of all, there's a few of them in this race that actually came out of that
Roman
race.
Does get off that horse.
Yeah.
So he rode Sparky Lad. Did he ride Sparky Lad in the trial? I think he rode Sparky Lad in the trial. He rode Calculated in the trial. He rode Blazer A in the run.
Exactly.
In the race.
So he had the choice. It's pretty obvious what the choice was going to be, but that was a super impressive trial.
Yeah, it was. But more so because he's resuming his second prep. I mean,
that's just goal with Waller, isn't it? You know, second prep, resuming after 2 really good trials. One under a tight hold. I think it'll just be winning.
Looks hard to beat. I would say that Brave Song, and I know he's missing a rider, is Snowden missing a rider, but I don't see that as being a problem. I think this horse's 2 trials this time in indicate, and I'm no rap for these Your Songs, but he seems to be doing something decent. If you match up his trial with Soviet, and I realise that Soviet is just a struggler in this race, his Pearla trial with Soviet, his length's better, and that's a Snowden trial.
Snowden trial where they tried. So I'm against it. Yeah.
All right. But you'll be backing it tomorrow. Because
Brave
I'll
Song.
be backing it.
Yeah, but at 40 to 1 or something like that, like what's it going to be?
It is $19.
Yeah, so that's all right. Jesus.
Yeah. So that's the first race. The key to the race is number 8, obviously, and he's an exciting prospect in the race, where there are bits and pieces in the race, but he looks the substance. Race 2, a 3-year-old fillies race over 1,250 metres. $2.90 is Long Time Ago. $3.80 Miss Q. $7 Witches. $7.50 Primavera. $8 A Moon Dream. $8 Bacardi Rose. And the only other one there is Pandea, which is $23. Now, I imagine that Long Time Ago is seeking the lead, even though I've never actually seen it in a race get anywhere near the lead.
It has the option to do that. I'm not sure they will do it with this horse.
Oh, well, so it's drawn 6 of 7. What are you thinking?
Well, when it's only a 7-horse field, you do have options because you're never going to be too far off the lead. I didn't find a lot of other pace in the race, so I was just wondering whether...
Technically, the Moon Dream is is from the leader's draw with a rider that seeks the lead.
Yeah.
Did sit outside the lead when she was last here, 2 starts back, and I thought she would go forward. Primavera raced forward, back in distance tomorrow, but raced forward with some success the other day, and Pandea has some speed. So there are your 4 options, and it's Gay first up. So, you know, I can only think that it'll be seeking the lead.
Well, look, I'll always listen to you as far as map's concerned. It's not one of my things. I'm clearly and confidently interested in backing number 5 Long Time Ago.
What do you make of the slightly bodgy trials?
Well, I thought they were lovely.
Yeah, no, lovely,
Yeah.
but like, I suppose we're putting up with this for a while, where she trialled 3 weeks ago at Kembla, and prior to that she had a short course trial at Randwick.
Okay, so in the old days, if you didn't see the Gay Waterhouse horse win the trial, you were thinking, well, I'm not as confident. That's not the case anymore. The way they do actually their trials is completely different right now. And if you notice, this horse, even under a tight hold past the post, is well in front of the rest of the field. It's a really strong horse. I actually like the 1250 first up because I actually think it suits it far better. It'll be too strong for these and it'll be winning. The only one that I interrogated was number 3 Miss Q. Obviously, you know, you can't get too obsessed with Huey Bowman being put on horses these days, considering the jockey challenge. I don't know, it was pretty stylish late, and I know our girl Holly has come out and not won, but should have won quite clearly, as we mentioned on Monday. But I'm saying that is not the standard of race or horse that Long Time Ago is. I think Long Time Ago will be winning.
But what are you basing that on? Because that's, look, basically I look at this race and I want to find Long Time Ago.
Yep.
You know, she's got the I won't say she's got the credentials, but she's got the style that I'm looking for in this race.
Yep.
And obviously, she's entitled to be beaten out of sight in the Global Glamour Light Fingers. She's not entitled to be beaten out of sight on debut, and other than that, she's got a Wyong run.
Okay, well, you put a pen through the first start because that's irrelevant. That's a different lifetime ago. That's a year ago.
Well, you say that, but there was nothing radically different changed. You know, it wasn't like she had...
Okay, first up, last preparation, beat a horse called the Pinnacle, who has been running in group races.
Right, okay. All right, no. I merely raised that because we've got a sequence of horses in this race that have no city form, really. And I realised that Miss Q won a very bodgy maiden, but she's only had one start. And she won that race. It was in town, and she's up against horses that have very limited city credentials. So whilst a long time ago was my preferred option, I had to be cognizant of Miss Q's credentials here.
I just think Avdullah's actually kicking himself right now because he rode long time ago in its last trial at Kembla Grange, and because of the stable connections, he's forced to ride witches, and this one could have got him one back.
Race 3, 2-year-old fillies maiden, 1200 metres. Another very interesting younger horses race. Soothing is our favourite, and this time Abdullah is on board, $2.60. $3.80 Sasso Corbaro, $6 Ballet Baby, $7 Barouge, who's now not so fashionable. And is there another horse in the market? I'm not sure there is. $21 Peretti and Unforgotten, next best. Auto's Honour is 26.
Doesn't really matter.
So, so we saw Sasso Corbaro take up the lead the other day. I'd suggest Auto's Honour has some speed and Velicano has some speed, but will Soothing, have you seen Soothing obviously trial brilliantly, but does she seek the lead here?
Well, she doesn't seek the lead, but she does have natural pace yet again. But they'll choose not to do that from barrier 13. I'd suggest one out, one back.
Right, okay. So you're saying they're looking for a sit.
I'm saying Avdullah's seen the way that Bowman has been successful recently and we'll try for the one out, one back position.
Not at Canterbury, sure.
I don't really mind where it sits because it'll just win the race. It's clearly the best horse in the race.
Has trialled super, hasn't it? It's just that we've got horses that are a bit hard to get rid of. We've got Barouge that started 2-1 in this grade. We've got Sasso Corbaro that started 6-4 in this grade.
And by the way, that was a good run by Sasso Corbaro. I actually have a little bit of an opinion of, was it Manicure? And they gapped the rest of the field. Yeah. I know it had a little bit of bias on its side, but that was still a good run.
I don't know that it had bias on its side. I just think that it had good control and it sort of had its chance. It sort of had its chance. I mean, Barouge looked to have its chance first up, but then again, it was gate 1 and it's trialled since and it's got blinkers on and it's got a wide gate, which may not work for it tomorrow, but it's different. Ballet Baby, talk to me about its trials.
Well, that'll be the blower because it ran on the same day as Soothing, tried a lot harder and did it in a lot slower time. So.
Okay. And is there any...
You just got to say, this Moore Princess, okay, that won the trial that Soothing was in, Soothing could have beaten it by 20 lengths if it wanted to. It came out of one of the best trials at Kembla recently as well. So it was absolutely... Moore Princess has a reputation for being a great trialer, which it did before that trial, and Soothing beat it under a tight hold.
Yes.
Soothing's winning the race.
Bigelow Trent, who he only sought out the opinion of one horse on the program tomorrow, and at Soothing he said, I'm a little bit keen.
He should be, and that's good observation, Trent. Did he give reasons for it?
He said he's been waiting for it.
Oh, yeah.
That's race 3. Race 4, a bit more common or garden here, 1100 metres, fillies and mares. Where do we start? $4.60, So Hard to Catch, who's making her city debut and resuming in her second prep. $5 is Caddyshack, $5 Could Have Been, $8 Vienna Romance, $10 Inzan Elsie, $10 Volante, $11 Shahrazad, and out to $18 Alart. So Hard to Catch looks to press forward, even though she found her success at a slightly longer trip in her first prep. Zenzan Elsie on her outside goes forward, and other than that, there's just bits and pieces of, well, Vienna Romance could posse up. Little Red Shoes has blinkers back on and some speed, but appears set to race at Hawkesbury on Thursday. And they're off paces. You know, Alart can race handy. Maybe she doesn't give up gate 1 here. Scuzzy Race, Gord.
Scuzzy Race, but I'm quite keen to bet on it because there's a horse that I think is clearly the best horse in the race, and it comes from unfashionable connections, which means I'll get a better price. I really like the trials of the one down the bottom there. So Hard to Catch. A thing that I do quite often as well is compare.
You've never been a Newnham fan.
Well, I'm not.
You've been bagging
for
months.
But I don't think he's a good trainer. I don't. But he's got a good horse here, and he's actually done the right thing by giving it 2 trials over reasonable distances to get it ready first up. He's got T. Clark on board, so I'll overcome the Newman factor by the fact there's quite a few positives there. There's one thing that I'm always interested in, and that is to compare the trials before its first start this prep to what it did last preparation. This horse has improved by leaps and bounds, and last preparation pretty much did nothing wrong anyway.
Yeah, it was very honest, ran into our favourite horse Drachenfels when he was on song.
Yep.
And then finished the job last preparation in style.
Well, Diamond Meteor came off that run and actually was an impressive winner as well. The form is franked. I think this is a proper horse. I think he'll be winning the race.
Any concern about 1100? Because it's quite sharp.
I actually think it'll suit it, and I actually think a little bit of sting out of the ground will suit this horse as well. I'm not an expert in this at all, but Glenn's given me a few little tips about like the way a horse runs and its ability on a sticky track. And, you know, tomorrow will be, what, soft 5 or something like that, but it's stickier than it's actually come across before. I think it'll fly over the turf. I'm a fan.
Here. It's got wings, or winged feet, anyway.
Well, wings, that's quite appropriate, isn't it? Because they always back that on a wet track, don't they?
T. Clark has been known to ride that lately.
Yes. I did have a close look at a few others here, and found some key negatives.
Well, there's lots of key negatives here, which is perhaps why the lightly raced first up, second prep T. Clark horse caught your eye, and you were willing it to trial well, I think.
Willing to trial well, and it's actually opened up at a decent price. I think it's around about the $5 mark or something like that. Like that's a good price against these, what I think are beaten up commodities. So
well, they are a bit beaten up, aren't they? Alart has the connections that have just centred around the world in 80 days. Zinzan Elsie has promised a bit more than she's delivered over the last couple of preparations. Shahrazad's been back to the trials. What do you make of her trial?
I had a close look at Shahrazad because I was going off the Canterbury run where it went close to In Her Time and Raymond.
I know, so as soon as wins at the 1100 course.
Yeah, so as soon as I thought that, I thought, oh, okay, well, I'm going to have a close look at this horse. And look, the trial was fine. You saw me watching the trial, didn't you, earlier on? But
maybe why I'm asking.
Yeah. I wanted to see a little bit more. I thought maybe I could, because I think that Your Way is a horse that might have some ability. I'm not sure about that yet, but it seems like they were all pushed out and it wasn't really a strong time. So I admit it has a chance and won't be a bet for me.
Yeah, well, that's a feature of many of the horses in this race. Katachak is a lightly raced horse, but I'd suggest has some holes in her form. Then there's no great depth or guts to those runs. Could have been resumed for Snowden at Kembla and found a very pissy race to win. I know she's Bowman here and still relatively lightly raced, has talent, but the springboard is not to my liking. Vienna Romance is Gerald Ryan, a little touch stale, but she's done a good job in some runs this preparation. But certainly I was looking to find, much the same as I was looking to find a long time ago, I was looking to find So Hard to Catch in this race. That's the front half of the card.
It's getting a little bit boring, isn't it?
Well, yes, but I mean, you've still got to look at the makeup of the field. So Boring for you because you just go, well, this also win. Why are you bothering looking at the rest?
Yeah. But it seems like they've, other than So Hard to Catch, the other three I've mentioned.
I know, but you've still got to work out what price am I taking.
I know, that's the important thing for me tomorrow.
So I think you need to look at the field in order to work out what price to take.
I would stamp all 4 horses that I've just tipped then as morals. Because, I have a tendency to do that.
Yes.
But I won't necessarily be taking the prices.
Morals are odds-on chances.
I'd have them close to odds on.
All right, you heard it here. That's the end of part 1.